Hey, cuties! Welcome back to 5 Years Time Podcast. Thank you for your patience last week as we took a week off because my producer was on a vacation. And so, guess what? I got a little sneaky vacation there too. Well, not really, but a vacation from recording the podcast last week. Anyways, that being said, I have been sitting in this office all day, studio, this room all day, just working, and it is already like 2 p.m. and I need to go pick up Rose soon. So I was like, I gotta get the podcast recorded. It was on my to-do list, and I am so excited to be here. I did write down a little bit of thoughts. I was trying to find where I put my drink, but I guess we'll get to that drink of the week. Thank you everyone for DMing me. I'm so grateful that you did that to remind me about the drink that I want to share this week, which is my new favorite coffee I've been making. Oh, I literally can't stop. It's so good. It's something I would have never really thought to make, but it's so good and I'm so happy I know about it. I also want to say, if you're not following me over on Instagram at 5 Years Time Podcast, please go ahead and do that. That would be so fantastic. I'm like almost at 10,000. Well, not almost, but almost. If you all follow me, that would be great. um, and that would just be fun. And then also, if you're not following me on YouTube or subscribed over there where I do my weekly vlogs, I am loving them. I'm actually almost coming up to a year of weekly vlogging. I took off a week here, a week there, but pretty much a year of weekly vlogging, which is just wild that it's already been that long. And so if you want to catch up on me and my past year in my life, you can go check those out. I just got a new camera. I'm going to be getting a little funky fresh with my editing and learning of filming as funky fresh as I can. Like, okay, we're gonna try, but I'm always trying to learn and grow and get better. So yeah, 5 Years Time Podcast over on YouTube. I also upload the podcast over there most weeks, unless I'm like on location, aka when I filmed last episode in Toronto. I didn't upload it to YouTube, but most of the time I upload it over there. So feel free to go subscribe over there because we're almost at 2,000 subscribers, which is so exciting. We're just on the cusp of these little full numbers and I'm really loving it. And I guess that was my shout out for all of you that I really wanted you to participate in. But it is July, and I had someone message me this past week saying, hey, I'm hoping that you can send, I have to do something for them. They're like, hey, I'm hoping you can send this for about mid-July. That was my like intended end date or whatever. And I was like, yeah, for sure. Like I went out and got the supplies already. And then all of a sudden I'm like, look at my calendar and I'm like, mid-July? Is that next week? how how did that happen? Like actually, how did that happen? I've been having a really fabulous July. As all of you've known, if you've been listening to the podcast, my June was just like booked and busy. I was consistently so busy and it was good. And I just felt like there was like all these big goals that I had to stay on track to get done. And then when I got past that, the rest of the summer was going to be sunshine and butterflies and relaxation and the opportunity to say yes more to things that pop up and about, as I've spoken about, is that I'm in my yes girl summer situation right now. And this is a perfect representation of that last week and this week, which are the first weeks of July. So, how fabulous is that? I have said yes to at least three random opportunities that have come into my life, some work, some personal, but I have said yes to them. And I'm just so excited about participating. I've participated in some, participating in others coming up. And it's just been feeling really wonderful and flexible, which is something that I have been yearning for, is that flexibility to get up and go and do cool things when they get offered. So, yeah, I'm really happy that I've opened my mindset to that and that the universe is just tenfold and bringing it back to me. Like, thank you. But yeah, let me give you my weekly recap. I guess it would be a 2 weekly recap. So last time I talked to you, we were in Toronto. It was about halfway through our trip, and we had plans to do some shopping and go to Center Island. And we did that. We took Ro to Center Island for her first Center Island ever experience, and she had so much fun. We went to Centerville and did all the rides. And I wasn't sure like what the height requirement was for most of the rides there because I used to take the kids from my old school there on like field trips, but the youngest would be kindergarten. And so I wasn't sure if like that was the height. And I remember them being, some of them not being tall enough for things. But then I also have to remember Ro is like a tall little chicken. She's going to take after her mama. And so anyways, she was tall enough for everything except for two things, the bumper boats and the bumper cars, because I guess you have to be tall enough because you have to ride solo by yourself. I'm not sure. But, anyways, that was fair enough. But we went, and she went on every single thing except for those two things because she couldn't. And she keeps talking about, I'm going to get taller and I'm going to go on those things. So she's a little ride lover. And even when she like is scared and afraid and nervous, she takes big breaths. Like I am so low pressure. Like if she gives me the I want to do it, then I'm gonna be there to support her. I'll be like, yes, we can do this. We've got this. Like I'm gonna hyper up. If she says no, I don't want to do that, then I'm there to be like, it's okay. Like if you feel like you're comfortable and prepared, then we can go for it. I'm here for you. But if you don't want to do it, no worries. We always can try again next year. And no, she was all about let's do it. She wanted to do all the really scary things right away. Like when we got there, she was like, I want to go on the roller coaster. And I was like, okay, let's go. And then the roller coaster is like at the end of the park. So you walk past so many rides. So me and my mom were like, hey, why about this one? Not this one. She's like, roller coaster, roller coaster, roller coaster. So I was like, I think she wants to do like her biggest fear first. And then as we're walking there, we passed by the haunted house and I was like, oh yeah, there's a haunted house. I totally forgot. And she was like, oh, we have to do the haunted house. So she like that went up in fear factor. So we did the haunted house and she literally was like closed eyes the whole time. And then we came to the log ride before the roller coaster. And she was like, oh, I want to do the log ride. So that like upped it in fear. And I was like, okay. And so we did the log ride. And then we came to the scrambler, which you can't see from the outside, but it is my favorite ride. It is so much fun. It's like a party on the inside. And it's like the octopus scrambler, you know, with the arms and it like shoots you out and you have a seatbelt on. You can fit a couple people in the seat and they turn off the lights, they put on disco lights, laser lights, music. It's so much fun and I just love that ride. Like that has always been my favorite ride and I think always will be until everyone tells me when you get older your brain just turns to mush. So I can't do it then, but for now I will ride it until I can't anymore. Anyways, I didn't think Ro would be tall enough for that and then she was and we went on it 3 times in a row and then we got to the roller coaster and then she was ready to go on all the other smaller rides where she could actually ride herself or we could ride together, but she didn't think it was as scary as those rides. But we had a wonderful time. We went to the petting zoo. We went on the what are they called? The swan rides, which is just so nostalgic to my childhood because I had an uncle who came who I went on them with uh sorry, my brain just stopped working. I have an uncle and I went on the swan ride with him, or I wasn't sure. I'm not sure if I was with him or if he was going on with someone else, but anyways, or if I was even there. I've just heard the story and over again. But anyways, my uncle fell off it and it's been a story that's been in my like life that everyone tells me. And so it's just like one of those things that all our family laugh about the swan rides because of Uncle Hari who fell off. But yeah, we had a wonderful time and then we headed home. And that night, I think me, Trevor, and Ro just all went out for dinner together, and my mom stayed back and had a little hotel night to herself. And yeah, we had a wonderful dinner. We were going to go for Thai food, but it was a big lineup, so we walked a couple doors down, and there's this vibey spot. I could just see it's like in the basement, so you could just see through the windows like a little bit. And I was like, oh, it looks like they have mussels. And then I said, I think it looks like tacos. And we're like, well, let's go check it out. It doesn't look too busy. And then you walk downstairs and it's like quite a party. It's all like black light and vibrant lights and cool music, cool food, cool drinks. It was cool. I was happy we went there. And yeah. And then I think the next day was our last day and we just took it easy. I had to work a bit and Mom and Ro went to the pool and then we headed home. And then me and Ro had our solo week together because Trevor headed off to the cottage with his friends. So me and Ro took on the week ourselves and it was a really wonderful week. It was a great week of balance between me and her hanging out. We had the weekend with each other. I honestly can't even remember what we did. It feels like so long ago, but I'm pretty sure it rained. It rained for like 3 days straight when we came home and then it was super sunny the latter half of last week. And so I'm pretty sure we went to a movie. Yes, we did. We went to a movie and it was so cute. It was Elemental. I loved it. Apparently the reviews were not good, everyone's telling me, but I thought it was so amazing. It was so sweet and it was about immigration and I just thought it was a beautiful story. And yeah, we had a wonderful time and then she also started summer camp which she's loving and so I was able to get work stuff done which was great. And then Trevor came home and I'm trying to think when he came home on Wednesday or something. I don't know, partway through the week. And then we had a wonderful week together, weekend together, we had some people over for a little pool party on Saturday. And then on Sunday, we went to our in laws to celebrate my mother in law's birthday. And yeah, we just had a wonderful, relaxing weekend. Like, relaxing in the sense that I was not working at all. And on Friday, I sat down, I said, I need to finish all my work and then I am free for the weekend. And that's exactly what I did. And I'm finding I'm getting so good at balancing my work versus home life schedule. And it just feels so fulfilling. And I feel so much more energetic because of it. And also, I just feel like I'm able to like embrace the days better. You know what I mean? But yeah, that was my weekly recap. So let's get into our snack and drink of the week. Dun da da da. Here it is. Drink of the week. Okay, I'm so excited for this, cuties. Are you ready? Drum roll, please. I'm gonna take a sip first. Dreamy, creamy, delicious. It is a cinnamon honey iced coffee, and it is fabulous. So, well, I guess it's an iced Americano, but you can make it however you want. This is how I make it. I'm going to tell you exactly how I make it. I take an espresso shot. So I do a double shot of espresso. Pull that in the machine. Okay, we got our double shot of espresso. Then I take a scoop of honey. I like to do just a teaspoon. Like, I don't like my coffee too sweet, and it's a very fine line for me. Like, sometimes I'll be like, oh, I want a little more sweet, and then I do it and I'm like, I wish I didn't do that. Like, I'm very either like no sweetness or a little bit. So I'll do a teaspoon of honey, a sprinkle of cinnamon into the hot espresso, and then I'll mix that up. Then I'll pour that over top of ice, and then I will top that up with some water, cold water, to make it the Americano. And then I'll add in a heavy dash of cream. And I use like table cream, which is what, 18%? I don't even know. But, or 10%? Is it 18% or 10%? Whatever your table cream is. You can use whatever cream you like. You could use milk. I don't care. But I use table cream. And I put in a heavy dash. So, you put it in and then you put in a little bit more. Like, that's the vibe. Oh my gosh, cuties. It is so good. I personally am not like, I like a little bit of cinnamon on top of my latte for a little something fun, but usually I don't like cinnamon mixed into my coffee because it gets all like, I don't know, stuck. It doesn't like blend well, and then you just got like floating cinnamon. And it's like, oh, it's so annoying. But I find when you put it in with the honey, I don't know, something happens. Also, I never put honey in my coffee ever. Like, never. I always use the raw sugar cubes. Those are my favorite. But like, I never put honey in my coffee, and it's so good. It just tastes so friggin' good. Okay? So everyone needs to go make their honey cinnamon iced coffees. It's so good. I need to make a video on it so that it lives on my page forever. I'm going to make a Instagram reel and a TikTok about it probably. And it's going to live on my page, and you guys are going to love it because it's so freaking good. Okay? You got to try it. If you like coffee, you're going to love this. Like, it is probably the equivalent to my matcha drink that I love so much, but in coffee. I think that's where it's at. Like, I love a brown sugar shaken espresso, and it's kind of vibing with that, but a different flavor because it has the cinnamon. Oh, it's so good, cutes. Okay. Anyways, my drink of the week, or my drink. Well, cheers to that. My snack of the week is strawberries dipped in sour cream and brown sugar. Okay, everyone? I was told about this on TikTok because I was making berries and cream, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, growing up, my family always did sour cream and berries. And I was like, sour cream? Like, I never even thought to do that. It's so good. And then someone else told me, they were like, oh, I did a dish of sour cream. Like, you'd make in your dish. Oh, I see an ant. Get out of here, ant. You'd make like in a shallow dish or a deep dish, but you make a shallow layer of sour cream and then put the brown sugar on top and let it sit for a bit, and it gets a little bit melty. Oh, it's so good. And then you dip your strawberries in it. And then at the end, when you run out of strawberries, you just dip your finger in it. Oh, it's so good. It's really, 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 really good. So if you haven't tried that, it's really good. And then I think just in general, if you want to make like a fruit dip, you could just I think you could dip any fruits in the brown sugar and sour cream, and it would just be like, mwah, chef's kiss. Oh, so many good things this week. Okay, let's get into this week I learned. This week I learned. I was reminded this week how easy it is to let another person bring you down. Do you know what I'm saying when I say that? Do you know what I'm saying when I say that? Okay, so what I mean by that is like, Sometimes it's so easy to get caught up in a moment and be and enter the level, be brought down to the same level as the person around you. So you'll be having a conversation with someone, maybe there's conflict, maybe there's maybe they're in a bad mood, maybe they're in like a gossipy mood, like I'm not against a little gossip here and there. Hello cuties, I love reality television. And like I do think that we should be considerate and see a full picture and like be a bit kind when we can be kind. But at the same time, like everybody has a little gossip in them, right? So like I'm not against that. But have you ever been with people where you just sit and it's like bitch and complain all day long, like boop 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 boop, and then you kind of leave that group and you're like, oh my gosh, we literally said nothing good about anyone. We just complained and we're cruel and like I kind of feel icky and sticky about it. Like I feel low. I don't feel good leaving that conversation. That type of vibe. And you get brought down into it pretty easily. Pretty easily sometimes. Like I'm not saying you do, but me. I have been there before. And then in situations where if you are having an argument with someone, you two people do not agree. You and your friend do not agree, and it is about something that maybe has been like boiling up for a while, been avoided. There hasn't been communication about it. Now it's kind of boiling up. Everyone's been passive aggressive, but now it's coming to the top of the seam, and it's like the person is doing the low jabs, the low blows, the calling names, bringing up things that like kind of don't even matter or maybe have been apologized about in the past, but keep bringing them up. Where like I have a strong rule. If you've apologized about it, I used to be really bad at this, but if you've apologized about it, then it needs to be left in the past and it needs to never be brought up again because you have already given them forgiveness. Well, I mean, that's if you've given them forgiveness, but I hope you have. If you haven't, then like, why are you still hanging out with them if you haven't forgave them, like, and aren't planning on doing it? But like, if someone apologizes and you manage to give them forgiveness, we don't bring it up again. It is poof, it never happened. Okay. So I just feel like sometimes you get in these situations where someone is then giving the low blows. They're calling you names. They're being rude. They're being rude. That's it. They're being rude with the way that they're addressing it. And where it's coming from, this conflict or whatever, is not necessary. It didn't need to get to this point, but usually it's because there's been passive aggressiveness around it. Like that's me. I can be a passive aggressive queen and just avoid the topic. I try not to. I try not to. I've been growing, but like I definitely in me can just like avoid it. You know what I mean? And then it just like boils over. But whether you've boiled over, if they've boiled over. But when someone is coming up to you with this conflict, sometimes in text message, and it's like not even in person, and it's getting all uh broken telephone communicated, right? And then you just like, sink low, like you meet them where they're at and you give it back to them, but then you feel so yucky after it. You just wish you hadn't done that. You wish there was things you could take back. You wish that you didn't go there. Like I just have been there so many times and I always feel so crappy after coming down to another person's level. I feel I've grown so much in this area and I always appreciate the reminder that it's easy to get back there and that we shouldn't do it because it feels icky, because there's nothing worse than losing ourselves and our joy in the midst of an argument or conflict with others. Like I really do think this is such an important reminder, and this is why I'm giving it to you. This is why I'm sharing it, because I was reminded this week and I want to remind you. If this is something that, if people have been stealing your joy or you've been letting people steal your joy, this is a great way to not do it. Like I have been trying so hard to really think about like what if? Like what if I just didn't care? But I mean, like, if someone's coming at me and they're being so rude, so mean, I get like people will comment on my. This is a great thing. Like, this is something social media has taught me and probably helped me a lot with this. Is people will comment the most random things on my TikToks and whatever, and they state them as facts, right? So it's like I'll see someone be like, "Oh, what does Ro? What's Ro short for?" And then someone will be like, "It's Rebecca," and they say it like it's a fact, and I'm like, oh, okay. I don't even correct them. I'm like, you live in your fantasy world. You live in your fantasy world. But people, this is what I'm saying, how rumors start. But this isn't, I'm not necessarily talking about social media. But on that side, people will also be mean and say cruel things. And it's like, sometimes I want to, sometimes I'll see a comment will come up and I'll see it and I'll be like, oh, I want to defend myself or I want to defend whatever they're talking about. Or I want to make them feel foolish for saying something like that, because like, why would you say something like that? But then I always catch myself. Like, I feel like I've only responded once or twice to comments like that. And then I always feel bad, not bad, but like, I feel like, oh, I wish I just didn't even give them the time of day. Like I wish that they didn't even know that their comment came to my eyeballs. Like, ah, I wish I didn't do that. So I've learned, I'm like, I've done it once or twice and now I never do it. I never respond. If it's cruel, really mean and awful, I just block you. But like, if it's just like whatever, someone's just saying something to say something, I just ignore it, and it's like it never existed. And I try my hardest never to think about it again. And that is something that has really helped me in my real life too, is that like if someone says something to me and I just makes me feel like, oh, I feel argumental. Like it's like I want to argue that. But then it's like I don't want to. I don't want to enter this conversation, and I don't want to come down to this level, and I don't want to have this conflict right now, because they're entitled to thinking whatever they want to think, but their thought is not my truth. And I think that is the most important thing, is that someone else's feelings of you, or how they view you, how they tell other people about you, is not the truth of who you are. Like literally, another person's opinion of you does not matter. It is not, it's none of your business. None of my business. And I used to leave conversations all the time in social settings, in one on one conversations, conflicts, meetings, maybe work meetings. I used to leave things all the time and just like think constantly about them, like over analyze, but only from my perspective, because I can never fully see another person's perspective, right? Like I don't know how you feel, but I would fill in the blanks. I'd be like, oh, they thought this, but this, or I wish I said this or that, or oh, and I would just like spend so much of my time like focusing on something that was in the past and that already happened, and that like whatever the person took from it as they did. And yes, if you I'm not saying like if you were in the wrong and you did something mean and you should apologize, like of course, like go back and apologize, whatever. But if it's just like a random conversation, it's like, and nothing, it wasn't like a bad thing or anything like that. It's like just leave it, just let it go, just drop it. So I feel like this is something that has really, 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 really helped me, because I used to always say, oh, what's the worst that could happen? And I know that can be like kind of an iffy thing for people to say. Like maybe it's like invalidating, but like I try, when I say things, I really am not saying it most of the time. Like I say most of the time because I hope that I'm not trying to, and if I do, I hope to learn from that. But like I really do think that when I say things like, um, well, what's the worst thing that could happen? I'm not saying that in a way that's invalid. Like maybe it's making you feel that way, but I'm not trying to make you feel that way, because I'm really saying it from a perspective of like, what is the worst? Like you really analyze it. What is the worst thing that could happen? And then like go through every scenario, because they all pretty much end with you can move past it. Like, and I've come to this way of knowing like, or feeling about the things that come to me and leave me and things that stress me out, like trying to prevent that stress is really understanding that like what is good for me is good for me, and what's not is not, and it will leave. Like if something is not meant for me, then there is not, it's not gonna be around here, and it might be a traumatic way of leaving, exiting, but it's not meant to be part of my story if it's not. And like you can't force it. And I felt for so long in my life I tried to force so many things. It's like I would try and force people to like me, I would try and force people to be my friend, I would try and force myself to get the job that I want, I would try and force them this or that. Like I would try and force so much. I would create plans in my mind of like, what's that Taylor Swift song? Mastermind. Like literally like that for everything in my life. It's like I would try and force so much stuff, and it would bring me so much uncertainty and anxiety around what happened, and or what what happened and what didn't happen. And if I didn't get what I wanted, or it didn't go the way that I had perfectly planned it out to be, like I would be upset. And that would, where's my drink? And that would annoy me. Like that would make me feel so frustrated and disappointed all the time. And I got over being disappointed. I was like, I got to stop putting all this pressure on how how my life is supposed to unfold, and let go of the control, and just like embrace what's going to happen, embrace what's going to come, and be ready and work hard. Yes, of course. I'm here to work hard. I'm here to try. I'm here to be the best person I can be. But at the same time, I don't need to know every single thing that's going to happen before it happens. And there's so much freedom in that. And I know that can feel really nerve-wracking, but there's so much freedom in that. And so let me take a sip because my throat's a little dry. And so saying that, bringing it back to what I was just saying about how I was reminded this week to not let other people bring us down, is that we cannot control how other people are going to react to us ever. Never, never, never. We have no control over anyone else, right? Sometimes we have no control over ourselves. Like we do, but sometimes we don't. Like think about it. I always try and think about this. When someone else is coming at me in a way that's rude or argumentative or judgmental or just nasty, I always try and think they're at their boiling point. And what am I like at my boiling point? It's reflect on that. I am sometimes kind of not nice to be around at all, right? I'm not. When I'm at my boiling point, when all things have snapped, I need to be by myself in a room with nobody else because I can be scary. And I think we all have that side in us. We all can be pushed too far. And so when you're on the receiving end of someone's too far, especially when you don't feel you have that relationship with that person, you've never reacted like that to them, and they have definitely never, and you don't even have that type of relationship. Your relationship is way more casual than being at your boiling point with each other. You know what I mean? Then it feels really uncomfortable and you instantly put up that wall and you instantly want to battle back. Why are you doing that? Why are you calling me that? That's not true. This point to that point, this point to that point. And it's this back and forth. But when someone is at their boiling point and if you're not there, you're not at your boiling point, then and don't let yourself get there, because you just need to step back and think this person's having a rough moment. They're having a hard time right now. I have had a hard time before and they're having a hard time right now. So I just need to let them talk. I can just they can talk and I don't need to respond. And yeah, sure, maybe they're going to ruin this relationship right now if they say things that I really feel like I can't forgive in the future. But then who they are at their worst and where your comfort level is, especially if your relationship isn't at that. But I mean, ultimately, you don't need to stand your ground because you know who you are. And this person is probably going to feel regretful afterwards. And it's better for you just not to get down to their level. It's just really better not to. And as I said, I always try and think I try this anytime now when I think about conversations when I leave them. So I used to think about conversations when I left them and be like, oh, this person would have thought this about me, or how did I come off with this? It was I was thinking very much about myself and how I was perceived. But now when I leave a conversation, if it was a discomfortable, it's not a word, uncomfortable conversation, an argument or a conflict of some sort. Now, when I leave a conversation, or if I just felt like the person wasn't being as receptive as they usually are, or maybe just, I don't know, felt off, now I might reflect on that conversation and think, I wonder what was going on. I wonder how their day went. I wonder where their mindset was at. I wonder, something like that. But not even think further past that, not create the story. But then know the next time I see them to be like, hey, I was just wondering how are you doing, or I noticed that our last conversation was a little bit off, and I was just wondering um if if there was something you want to talk about other than that, or I just wanted to really just check in on you or whatever. I really try and now think about those things firstly, not even as a secondary thought. Even when I hear other people, back to gossip circles, even when I'm in a gossip circle, not that I'm in gossip circles much, but you know what I mean. When you're sitting around and you're giving the goss. I do this thing with my husband every day where he comes and he sits on the end of the bed if I'm watching a show or something. And I'm like, what's the daily goss? Literally, he never has anything for me. I think every 2 months I get a little piece of gossip, and that's just the gold. But I always say, what's the goss? And basically it just means how was your day? Catch me up on it, because that's what the conversation ends up being. But when you catch up with your friends and you're like, oh, I heard so and so, whatever, whatever, whatever. A little bit is okay. But sometimes it gets too far. I don't know. Just nasty being nasty or making up stories, and that's not fun. No, facts. Share facts, not falsities. Also, if someone asks you not to share, then don't share, please. But I forgot where I was going with that point because I started talking about Trevor and me and my goss, and that always makes me laugh. But where was I going with that? Anyways, I just want to give that reminder to you. Oh, I know what I was going to say. I was trying to say how I'm trying to think really firstly about other people. So, like, let's say we are sitting around and people are talking about other people. I feel like I'm that annoying person that enters the chat and is like, oh, well, maybe that person was like A, B, or C or whatever. Like I try and just be a little bit empathetic to the situation. And I feel like people really hate that. They're like, you're trying to make me feel bad. And I'm like, I'm not trying to make you feel bad. Like, that's fair that you thought that. Like, I'm not trying to make you feel bad. I'm just trying to see it from their side too. Because I think a lot of times people they want the drama. They want it to be worse than the worst. But like really it's not. Like when I think about reality TV, they make the littlest things into the biggest situations, and they create these storylines. And like when you hang out with people, or you are part of like maybe a few groups of people, and they all kind of intermingle, and you hear the same story from like all different perspectives, and it's like so different, and you're like, okay, where's the truth, where's not the truth? So I just try and see everything with an empathetic lens, and it's like, okay, like we all have a hard day. We all need help sometimes. Sometimes I do something silly and I apologize for it. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's actually not that big of a deal. And I feel like that's like where I am in my life. I'm like, you know what? It's not actually that big of a deal. It's okay. Everything's gonna be okay. I'm just like, man, I'm just chilling. So, anyways, this is my reminder for you. When people are trying to get you fired up and you just want to be chilling, stay chilling. Let the person be fired up. Just let them talk. Don't give them anything else. Then it ends. And that's the end. And say, like, okay, I hope that you have a better day tomorrow. Bye. Or, I'm sorry you're feeling that way. Literally, silence is your BFF. That's something I learned working in childcare, especially working in childcare, not from children. I mean, it can be your BFF with children, but like parents, silence is your BFF. When people are upset, silence is your BFF. Just let them talk. Just let them chit chat talk. And you're just there. And then try not to absorb it. Really try not to absorb it. But so that's my reminder for you this week. Don't let other people bring you down. You just stay chilling and feeling good. And if you're in a good vibe mood, then like keep the good vibes going, because other people need that around them. I truly think that there's more people out there that are like grumpy than people who are like joyful or positive or just chilling. So like it's good if you can be that person for other people. And the more that they spend time with you, the more that they will absorb that and feel better and feel more uplifted, and less need for random conflicts that like don't matter. Like let the drama chill. You don't need that in your life. That's why we watch reality TV, so we don't have to participate in other people's drama or our own drama. We can just listen to other people's. Okay, let's get on to our roses, buds, and thorns. Roses, buds, and thorns. My rose was having such a lovely, relaxing weekend and time with friends and family. It was the perfect balance of what I needed. As I said earlier, like I have really begun to perfect my work is for like when I work and when I don't work. And I'm really trying to like bring back the weekends, the no work weekends. Because Trevor doesn't work on the weekends, Rose not in camp on the weekends. It just makes sense for me to do it that way. And yeah, sometimes maybe I need to, but on Fridays I've been trying to grind where I just like mainly the vlog is the biggest thing because I upload that on Sundays. I just have to get it done. And then I try and grind to get the vlog done, and then anything that I will want, like just organize everything so that on Monday I feel the same thing. Like Mondays I do laundry and watch my shows, but I also try, like if I have a bunch of stuff that I need to do, computery things, I try to film throughout the week, and then I can do computery things on Monday and Friday, and that's like the best. Anyways, you don't need to know the breakdown of my work schedule, but like it's just been so good. And then this weekend, like it's like I don't even have to have my phone, I don't need to have my camera, I just don't have to participate in anything. So ever since I switched vlogging just to Monday to Friday and not like 7 days a week, oh, it's a game changer. It just feels so much more refreshing, and I really appreciate all the support on that. So, thank you, cuties. Okay, my thorn, fear-based feelings. I felt like coming into this today, I had a bunch of work I needed to do, which I got done all already, and now I'm working on the podcast, which is great. But I I was prepared for the work that I had to do. Like on Friday, I set myself up for success. I already knew what I had to do. It was like a attainable schedule. I wasn't going above and beyond, like g- grinding or hustling too hard. Like I was gonna have the amount of time that I needed to finish the tasks. But being I was being so uncomfortable about it because I was having like this fear based feeling around it. Like I had a few things that I needed to submit, and I feel like I've had past experiences where I've submitted things for review and gotten feedback, which is appropriate. I love feedback. Please tell me. I That's like my number one thing. Tell me right away so I can fix it or we can have a conversation. But I think I was like holding other people's feedback in my mind thinking like, oh, it's going to be the same thing for everything I create or whatever. But that's not true. That's not true at all. Okay. And like if it is whatever happens, like then I can fix it. But like I was spending so much time thinking about it, like, oh, I need to make it perfect, I need to make it perfect, I need to make it perfect, because maybe they'll think this or maybe they'll think that. But it's like, stop trying to think what they're going to think. What looks good to you? What do you like? And then they can let you know. Maybe they're going to like that. If not, then they want you to put in more. That's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Anyways, I was getting stuck in my head. Anyways, I realized what I was doing. All of a sudden, I was like, oh, you know what's happening right now, Grace? And then I touched base with myself and we moved forward and it was fabulous. So it did come around. And then my bud, I'm really looking forward to a little road trip tomorrow. Me and Ro are headed up north to go visit my sister-in-law and have lunch with some fam. And it's just gonna be fun. I'm taking Ro out of summer camp for the day, aka I need also also known as this is my reminder that I need to tell her teachers today when I pick her up that she's not gonna be there tomorrow. But I am looking forward to it. I love doing little roadies with my girl. I think we'll get some Starbies maybe, or maybe I'll make my coffee. I don't know. I didn't go grocery shopping this week because I'm out of the house like so much this week. I'm so I'm so busy. That's why I need to get so much stuff done today. So I was like, I haven't gone grocery shopping. Will I go grocery shopping? Can Trevor do that? Because I'm not really even going to be home to make the meals myself until like Thursday. And then Friday we're having my mom's birthday party here. So I don't even know. We'll see what's going to happen. We're on summer schedule, friends. But yeah, that being said, maybe we'll get Starbucks because I kind of want to get my matcha because I love it. But also the egg white bites for breakfast. That's like good road trip food. But then I do need to get some snacky poos to keep in the car because, oh, that's my alarm to go pick up Ro. Okay, I have a few more minutes. So yeah, we'll see. But anyways, that's what I'm looking forward to is my little road trip. And I'm looking forward to vlogging on my new camera because I have a little mount for my car and it's so fun. And we're gonna be in the car all the time. So that's just gonna be so fun. So again, subscribe to my YouTube channel at 5 Years Time Podcast if you haven't for my weekly vlogs because it's just fun if you want to catch up with my daily life. Okay. Entertainment recap. Entertainment recap. Entertainment recap. Mm-hmm. Started the Ashley Madison documentary last night. Me and Trevor watched the first episode. It is on Disney Plus now through Stars. I'm assuming if you're in the States, it's probably all the way out already, because I think it was a Hulu thing. That always comes a little bit later to us. I'm not hundo on that. But the first episode's out. I don't know much about the Ashley Madison thing. I only know of it because there was a YouTuber who got caught on it. And there was like drama happening. Anyways, that's why I would remember what it was or what was going on. And then I also just watched recently the Duggars one. And I think one of the Duggars person was on Ashley Madison. I'm not a hundo when the leak happened. So we're not at the leak part yet. We're only on the first one. And it started in Toronto, which I mean, I don't know if I should feel prideful about that, but like the first episode is very Toronto based and it's fun to see the old interviews in like the subway and stuff. It's just like fun to see like things that but I'm enjoying it. It's kind of corny in the sense that like they have all these like dramatized clips in between everyone talking, and that part is kind of corny. But other than that, I'm intrigued. Then we started the Hillsong one. We already watched Hillsong documentary, which I honestly can't remember totally about, but like starting this Hillsong docu series, the first I fell asleep after 5 minutes, just so you know. After in the first 5 minutes, they spoke about a few things, and I was like, oh yeah, okay, I'm kind of remembering. It's coming back to me. It's coming back to me. So I'm still gonna watch it. Me and Trevor will start it again. I don't know when, but at some point because when I'm not tired, so I don't fall asleep. But I always enjoy watching that because we have gone to necessarily I don't know. I guess yes, I did go to we've been to Hillsong-based churches before. There was like a time in our life where we were trying to find a church and we could not find one anywhere. And so we tried out so many and none of them clicked for us. And one was a Hillsong-based church. And we also went to a C3 one, which they're kind of like the same, two in the same of like toxicity in church, I think, but also like similar, whatever. So anyways, yes, we've experienced it at least a couple Sundays. So we kind of, we know a little bit more about the gist of it. Okay. We also watched Ratatouille yesterday. So we were at my in-laws and Ro, for some reason, was talking about Ratatouille. And so we watched Ratatouille, and I've not seen Ratatouille since it first came out, like when I was in middle school. And so it was so cute. But also, I was laughing because in one of my recent TikToks where I was actually trying the strawberry with the sour cream and the brown sugar, there were so many comments, maybe a handful of them, not so many, but like a handful of comments that were saying that I reminded them of Ratatouille trying mixing flavors in the movie, and I was like, oh, I'll have to watch Ratatouille one time. Anyways, then Ro talked about it and then the clip came up and I was like, literally, that is me. That is what I look like. I look like a little rat trying the strawberries and cream, and I love it. I want to be that for Halloween. And then Desperate Housewives, I'm on season 7 now. Sorry, I got a frog in my throat. I'm on season 7 now, and there's only 8 seasons, I think, which is just wild that I'm like nearing the end. And I don't know what's happening so far, except for now we're at the point where, oh my gosh, I can't remember her name. The one who she's now renting out her house and she's living in an apartment complex, and she starts doing this like maid house cleaning in lingerie website, and now she has a billboard in coming up. Anyways, what is her name? Why can't I remember? Susan. I was like, why can't I remember her name? But yeah, that's the part where I'm at. But I'm still very much enjoying Desperate Housewives. And I feel like a lot of people said it ended too soon, which I just find wild because there's 8 seasons of it. But it seems like every season, something interesting about the show is every season's always something different, and they're always bringing in some new housewife characters. Like they're not the originals, and they're not part of it forever, but like for that season. And they're always bringing back old characters like seasons later. I kind of love how they like mix and mingle everything. It's very fun. So yeah, that's what I'm still watching. Nothing else. I do want to go see that new movie with, I think it's a romantic comedy. I'm not 100% sure, but with what is her name? The girl from Hunger Games. Oh my gosh. I'm blanking, but there is a few movies that I want to see, but I don't even think this week I'm gonna get to it. And then next week I think the Barbie movie comes out. So exciting! But yeah, I don't think this week I'll get the chance to. Maybe, but I really don't think I will. But maybe. Anyways, that's where we're at, cutes. Love you all. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. And go follow me over on all the other socials at 5 Years Time Podcast to keep up with me throughout the week. I'm super excited for all the fun stuff coming up this week. Love you, love you, love you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. And remember, don't let anyone yuck your yums. Love you, cutes.